Here we are. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Picking up exactly where we left off yesterday. Oh, the crane's coming out nicely. No, I'm having trouble. The paper's a bit too soggy. There was lots of condensation on top here last night. The paper's a bit too wet. It's sagging a bit too much. Sags down a bit in the corner here. Okay. Deep and rich. This is the double impression here, the second impression. Okay, a little bit, tiny bit of touch here. So, let's wake up. Let's get going. Where are we? Good morning, gang. The regular crowd. A bit zonked this morning. It's been this and that going on. Okay, let's do this. Let's try and keep the pigment fairly light. Twice. I've got to be careful about this corner because the paper is sagging down more than it should be, so I can either chop out deeper or wipe a little bit. Here we go. Here's the gray we did yesterday. There's one impression, clearly too weak, as you can see. And let's just do it right away, right on top. Let's see what happens. And for the second one, I'll use a bit of a lighter barrier, I think, so it doesn't scratch. Oh, look, we've still got a bit of touch at this bottom. What's going on here? The paper is so soft and wet, it's naturally sagging over this corner. Look at this. Not good, not good. I think what we might have to do is tighten the paper up a bit. It's a bit too wet. Hang on a sec, let me get some interleaving sheets. Excuse me a moment, I didn't get these ready. Yoish, back in a sec. Now, how many down vests do I own? None, actually. This is cheap junk. It's not down at all. Okay, paper's a bit too wet. It's sagging a bit too much around the edge of the block. It picked up too much moisture last night, and it was a cold room, and the condensation on top of the newspaper picked up too much moisture. So we have to try and pull some of the water out of here. I can do it this way, can I? This is normal copy paper. This is the printing paper. Just make a quick sandwich. I'll do this where you can see it. Just a few seconds, really. It pulls the water up very, very quickly. That should be enough, I think. Let's see. So, it's pulled up a ton of the water already, just quickly came out into this sheets. Just a few seconds was enough. Let's do it with the other half of the stack. No, too wet now. And it's happening both. I mean, obviously the paper here is completely unsupported. It's just because of this, the way the particular block is cut. If there were something else, another area here the paper would rest on, then yes, it wouldn't flop down quite so much. So it's two things, you know, it's the random shape of this block, and it's the fact that I let the paper get a bit too moist, you know. And if I get that red mark again on the next one, we've got plan B. We'll put a support in there. Oops. Okay. All right, then let's make a support. Otherwise, what do I need? I need a piece of washi. We're gonna find something. Here we go. How big is the paper? No, it's just a plastic bag. Nothing special. Just a plastic bag. Okay. This is Aimi-san's bench, and she's cleaned up. She's taken everything home. It's all gone. It's a bare bench. There's no tape or nothing. Let me get a bit of sellotape. Excuse me just a minute. On a normal printer's bench, you've got the drawers nearby, everything, knives, sellotape, everything's already inside. But this is now a bare bench. It's homeless. Aimi-san's gone, so there's nothing here. Tokubetsu no plastic bag. Let's see. I gotta avoid banging it with the brush, of course. Let's do a test here. All right, let's see. Let's use the same sheet I just spoiled. At least it'll give me a sense for how this is going to work. Nothing on top there. Where's my cover sheet? Anybody see where I put it? The cover sheet that goes on top? There aren't many places to hide things here. Look at that. What did I do with it? good to go. Let's continue. Sorry about the sidetrack. Tiny bit of paste, bit of pigment. Seems okay. What else could possibly go wrong? Oh, I see. I printed on the back side. Look at that. Interesting. This is really turning out to be a good morning here. I printed that on the back side. The gray is so soft and showing through the back. I printed the wrong way around. Let's get this sorted out here. That's the front side. This comes out here, print here. Okay, Dave, wake up. Yeah, how about this a new world record? I think I've spoiled the first 4 sheets in the run here. I have indeed. Look at that. I spoiled the first 4. This one's printed on the back. That one still had a smear. This one had a smear inside. That one's maybe okay. These things, this is called Shima. And the translation is island. It's called an island. And as long as you make them from something soft, then when you're printing on the back, it doesn't matter if the baren hits them because it's soft and it doesn't leave marks. If you used a piece of wood or something, it would leave an edge or something on the paper. And sometimes there's no way around it. It's too close and the ink gets on it. So you've either got to use a cover or the girls flip it out and flip it back in. There's any number of ways to do it. Dry. Now, wake up, Dave. Paper is this orientation. I printed the last one on the back with the paper face up. There we go. We've still got a touch. Look at this. Look what's going on here. Even with this island, we still picked up a touch of pigment here. Where's that from? It's right where the beak goes down, right here. Look at that. Here we are on live TV. Those are cute. Look at this. What do I do with the prints that are rejected? It's going to stay, they stay in the stack because then, fact, I'm even going to now, I'm going to print the second color on it. I want the stack to be really stable and steady and have the prints all with the same moisture and the same count and stuff like that. So rather than throw it away at this point, it just gets thrown away at the end of the process. So it seems like a bit silly, you know, to keep printing on the same sheet of spoiled paper. But it's much more important for me to have the stack as a stable thing, as a stable entity that doesn't change. The stack of paper here. This is too big. There's no way I'll be able to cut that out. Sometimes when it's just a tiny dot, you can do surgery at the end and take out the color dot or something. This is too much, so this sheet will never make it out. There was just enough there. Interesting. Seems hard to believe that it could reach down. So, here we go. The printer is carving the blocks. Yes, yes, yes. You'll see these. We've talked about this before when we're dealing with those old doi blocks. You'll see parts of the blocks that are carved smoothly with chisels, and parts of the blocks that are just gouged out quickly, because any printer, he keeps a bunch of U-gouges next to him. And when there's trouble, usually farther away than there is today, the printer will hack it out with a U-gouge. So you can clearly see, there isn't one within reach, I don't think. Maybe there is. Hang on a sec. So I'll do this without knocking over anything else. So this is a perfect example. This is one of the old doi hunger blocks, the one that Sugi-san was working on just a while ago. And you can see this. The areas near here, these were carved by the carver. But look at this. Look at all these U-gouge marks. This is not stuff that was done by the carver. This is stuff that was done by the printer at the point of, he's printed a copy and he's found a smear here. So hack, hack, hack. And look at it. Everywhere around this block, it's been hacked at by the printer. We think, what's the problem? Didn't the carver carve deeply enough? Well, he did it the first, but what happened as the years go by, the thing gets more and more worn, more and more round, it gets deeper and deeper, the printer has just got to hack away more and more. Or maybe when the first ones they made had good, stable, solid paper, and they got a cheaper, more floppy paper for later editions. But it's really common for us to see this on these old blocks. There's one in the corner, you can see. Most of it's carved by the carver. You can see it. It's smooth. It's neat. It's, you know, common sense. And then here in this corner, there's a bunch of wild scratches where the printer has grabbed a chisel and ripped out a bunch of area. And actually we can see it. It's right there. The paper must have been flopping in the corner, just the same as it's been doing for me this morning. And the printer has wildly hacked away at it. This block too, as it gets older and older and older now. Who else? Where are we going to get in this block? Yeah, I'm gun shy now. We're going to turn it over. Where are we going to find a red mark in a new place? Let's see. Made it. It's okay. But too light. We have to do it twice. So. I'm missing questions here. Sorry. What's the reason for the cross in the middle? This was the first carving. It didn't work. I don't even remember. This is 15, 20 years ago. I carved this design first, and I must have made a mistake somewhere. I don't remember actually now. I must have made a mistake somewhere, carved something off too much. Had to recarve it. Luckily at the time there was an empty part of the block that I hadn't used. So I recarved it. And then at that time, to remember which one I was supposed to use, put an X in it. I don't even remember at this point. It's so many years ago. There's something on here that I carved off by mistake. I don't even know. Anybody who has the idea that this is sort of some genius workshop where nothing ever goes wrong and there's never any mistakes and it's always perfect, that's not how it is here, you know. It's the same as anywhere else. It's a mix of good planning and oops and stuff that comes up you didn't think about and stuff that hits you blindsided. It's a mix of all those things. I make just as many mistakes as anybody does. Here we are, nice, good, clean one. This is not, here we are, what are we, printers carving the blocks. What was bad about the other half of that block? This one, right? So. Have you ever messed up a block when fixing it, when you actually had to make a new block? Oh, you mean like when I'm fixing it here, oops, slip? I don't know about anything like that. I don't know. No memory of that. But as I said, there's just as, you know, we make mistakes, we screw up. It's a difficult process. It's all a question of experience. You know, back years ago, I made many more mistakes than I do now. Or things would start to go wrong, like maybe this thing that happened today, the red smeared, and I wouldn't have understood what was causing it. So you struggle to try and figure, what do I do now? What do I do now? You know. Reject prints. No, we don't let the reject prints go out. You know, we're trying, without trying to be pretentious about this, we try and set a specific quality level here, and the reject prints get thrown away. You know, it's the same as, you know, we've talked about this before in many fields. The guys who make cars, you know, nobody's going to buy a car with a scratch on it. You just can't do that. You have to sell the car as you make it, as perfectly as you can do. And as time goes by, the thing might get a scratch organically. That's okay. You know, a used car has a scratch, but you can't sell a new car with a scratch. I can't let a print go out of here with a giant red mark on it like that. It just doesn't make any sense. Even though, you know, we buy prints from the old days on the auctions and stuff, and we get the prints, and none of them are perfect. The prints that come from the old days, there's bumps and scratches and blots and all kinds of things on them. It doesn't matter once they're 200 years old. But we can't sell such a thing. You know, it's kind of a paradox. And if we could put our damaged prints aside in a time capsule, do not open for 100 years or something, 100 years later they're going to look at it, it's okay, I guess. I don't know, but you can't do that, you know. Looking good. You see it on the other camera. Clean, clear, sharp, beautiful. Do I actually work on Sunday, or is the stream only today? I work every day, just my life is here day by day by day. I don't actually have, you know, myself, I don't have holidays and stuff. I know the other staff, Cameron's not here today, it's Sunday. He's never works on Sunday, that's his religion thing, of course. Someone like Cameron works 5 days a week here. That's a normal way to do things. It's my own company, so I just simply, I'm here every day, you know. Why do I use tissue when printing some projects? You're talking about the back thing here? It all depends on the condition of the paper. If the paper is strong and firm, then we don't need this at all. You've seen me to print right on the back of it. But today the paper is really quite soft and a bit too moist. So it needs a protection, you know. What this thing allows me to do, if it wasn't for this, I couldn't print quite firmly enough because it would tear the paper, but having this in place allows me to put a good firm pressure in. It all depends on the condition of the paper, how big, the wide area that we're printing. Is it visible? The paint should put it where people can see it, I guess. That's something I did overnight, or just this morning before setting up the stream. Yesterday when we started this, I had a tile. I was putting a splash of red and a splash of yellow on the tile. But because there's 30 prints here, it makes more sense to mix some in a bowl. I put yellow and red in a bowl here today. By actually mixing up the color, of course, the 30 prints will have a consistent red, you know. I was a bit careless yesterday, just slapping it on the tile, you know. Oh, I see. Oh yeah, that blog entry. Don't remind me about that. It'll just get me all steamed up. I'm having a happy day today here. Don't remind me about that. Oh, George, good morning. Hello. I don't know, can I ask you, how's it going with the print you put up yesterday? Are there people interested in it or whatever? I think Cameron posted about it on our Facebook blog here at this end. I didn't get much chance to look at stuff yesterday. Cameron told me he posted it, but I haven't seen, I haven't seen what's happened. I know I did get a couple of emails yesterday asking me to get George's image there and make a woodblock print of it. Not that I have time to play with something like that, but what's that white thing you were scratching? You've joined the stream later. We've put an island in here. The paper was sagging too much. So this is just a piece of folded paper as a support. The printing paper is coming on top and falling down at the end because it's so soft this morning. So this is just a support for the printing paper. And I'm rubbing it with my finger because it's just got a touch of red pigment. The brush touches it. So I'm just wiping the pigment off. Someone's asking about great waves, when the next batch will be ready. I don't know. It's going to be at least the middle of March. I know our young printer, Yamamoto-san, he'll start the next batch in March. What he's doing for me right now, this is interesting actually. You know, Ayumi-san, who's benched this, says she's gone, and she did some of the Doi Hunger blocks for us, those beautiful Shin Hunger prints. We've taken one of those same set of blocks and Ayumi-san's test printings, and we've sent those to Yamamoto-kun, the young boy who's been doing our great waves. In fact, I think I have a... Which one? It's this. It's this one. The one Ayumi-san did for us, this one. So at the moment, Yamamoto-kun has the block set for this, and he's got Ayumi-san's proof sheets all the way along, and she's got the sample print, the last one from the shop. So we've put the great wave on hold. He can't do both at the same time, and he's doing these first. When he's done that, he comes back to Great Wave. So the next Great Wave batch will be, my block's dry now. The next Great Wave batch will be at least the middle of March. And we've got hundreds of people now waiting. I'm sorry for the bad news. If you're thinking about getting one, go and put your name on the waiting list. It's woodblock.com/Hokusai. But I'm sorry, it's going to be quite a while. Sorry about that. I'd love to, just to be able to pour them out, but we just don't have the capability for it, What's this? A print expert in Kensington Market, Toronto, told me about you. Is that, what's the guy's name? Stuart Jackson. Is that Stuart Jackson? He used to be on Queen Street. I think he moved somewhere. And if it's Stuart Jackson, then I really have to thank that guy. I've written to him a couple of times, never get an answer. It's in the Stuart Jackson Gallery that 40 years ago I first saw Japanese prints. I bumped into that gallery one day randomly. 40 years ago. It's 1978 or 1979. In the Stuart Jackson Gallery, he had an exhibition of little Surimono prints. This was in Toronto. And that was my first exposure to these prints. I saw them in the gallery that day. Wow, cool. And I thought about trying to make some. So there you're after one impression. It's plain and clean, nothing wrong with it, but it's nowhere near deep enough. There's a faint line here. Maybe this is starting to transfer as well. I'm not sure. It never ends. The hunt for defects never ends, How do I make sure the ink doesn't go down off the outer edge of the circle? The ink goes over. The ink is here, 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 here. But because of the way it works, the tool just picks up the ink off the flat surface at the top. It's different from the Western stuff where you use a brayer and you just roll ink onto the flat surface only. In the Japanese system, the ink goes over the entire surface. The tool is flat, so it just picks up from the top. And the next time you rub, the brush picks up ink from all the places that weren't printed, so that acts as a reservoir. In the Western way, ink goes only on the top, you pick up all the ink, nothing is left behind. With us, it's different. We could mask it, yeah. We could put a mask, cut a circle around a piece of paper, put it down. We do that sometimes. This one's a bit simple today, I don't think it needs that. But yeah, we do masking. It's usually not necessary because the paper is in stronger condition. Today my paper is really a bit softer than it should be. It's flopping around a bit too much. If this wasn't like a scheduled stream, I think what I would have done with this, if I had just been doing this normally on my daily schedule, seeing that the paper wasn't in good condition, I would have adjusted the paper, gone off and do some different work, some bookkeeping or carving or something else. I would have come back at it later when it was in better condition. But because of the way we have this schedule now, we have to stream and people are waiting for us and we're here. I don't quite have that flexibility as much. So you get a little bit pushed into a situation where I'd rather not be printing, but we have to do it because there we are. People are waiting. It's live. Nice, rich. Well, that's the first batch. That's the first 15. Back in they go. And somewhere the second 15, which I took the water off a minute ago. They should be in here somewhere. Here they are. This is just a small emergency run of these prints. Our Ome workshop has got orders come in over the past week or so, and we're out of these. So this is scheduled for printing by Tsushima-san, our printer out in Ome. But right now, there are orders waiting. So Yasui-san asked me to do a quick run over the weekend. So I have to finish this today, send it to Ome tonight, so it's ready for shipping tomorrow to collectors. And then it'll go to Tsushima-san, the blocks, and she's going to do 50, 60, 70, I don't know. She'll do slowly and carefully an edition of this, the next batch. But I'm the guy they call when something suddenly has run out of stock and there's a bunch of orders for it. I'm the guy they call to get something done. We had 4 print parties yesterday. It was a hilarious day for print parties. There's a real mix, a real mix of parties. There's none scheduled today. It's funny. There's 2 staff members today with no print parties scheduled. And yesterday I was the print party host and it was 3 or 4 scheduled. It's just random, People don't book them because I'm going to be there. Nobody knows when I'm going to be there or not. But what I would like to be doing today is working on the counter. I've got to build the counter for the shop downstairs, and I've got it all laid out and planned. And today I've got to start cutting, but whether I'll get a chance to do that or not, I don't know. What's this? What's this? Here we are. Why is the paper too damp today? It's a couple of things. One is when I left off yesterday, perhaps I had moistened it just a bit too much. And second is that because I'm not really a regular printer here, I just sort of left this yesterday, went back and did my work, and then came back this morning just exactly where I had left it last night. I didn't pack up the paper, I didn't put it in the fridge, I didn't do anything, I just left it. And this room was really cold last night, nobody was in here, and condensation. And the top of the sheets here, the top of the plastic, there's moisture inside, lots of condensation, so the top newspaper sheets got really, really wet. I had left the paper just under the top sheet. This is not good practice, but I was just, whatever, pick it up tomorrow, blah, 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 Normally we wrap up the paper, carefully fold it inside, multiple layers, wrap something on top to take care of the condensation. So yeah, and that's come back to bite me. I was careless yesterday and it's biting me this morning. I know it's a perfect example. You can't screw around with this stuff. 40 years of experience, it doesn't matter. But if you ignore that experience, if you just say, oh, I can handle it, I'm okay, I can do this, I'm an expert, it will come back and bite you. How's the shop renovation work coming? My God, don't ask. It's slow. Just, I'm almost never getting down there. There was supposed to be a few of us working on it. There's not. It's now just me and Aoyama-san. And we've got almost none of the furniture built. The toilet's not quite finished yet. I have to finish plastering the wall inside the toilet. Have to put the toilet floor down. Aoyama-san's done a really good job. He's got the roof, the main roof of the shop area painted now. He pulled out the lights, moved some of the light bars. So he's been working on the general infrastructure, and I'm supposed to be working on the furniture now that that job has become my job suddenly. So, and it's going slowly. There's no way we're going to be open. Well, we didn't have a date. We thought maybe because we got the key on February 1st, we thought we might be able to have the shop open somewhere in the middle of March or something. That's absolutely not going to happen. I don't know. I can't give a date. We're just going to plug away day by day, slowly doing what we can until we get there. April, May, I haven't any idea. I don't know. You make your plans, you do what you can do. Stuff changes, you just keep moving forward. You know. We were asking around the neighborhood if I can get somebody else to help me with it, but the idea to find somebody who can help working with cabinets and stuff is just impossible. Yeah, one day we'll look around and say, it's finished. That's all we can do. So that's what happened 3 years ago with this one up top. It took us, the second floor shop, the one we did 3 years ago, we really had a plan. I had planned 6 months in advance. Let's do this first, do this first, do this first. We really had a plan. But the problem is the three of us, me and Aoyama-san and my son-in-law, Johan, we were amateurs and we did this and spent too much time fooling around with this, and nearly the end of the month came along and we looked around and there was almost nothing done. So we quickly did a plan B, got ourselves organized much better, and we got it up and running after another couple of weeks. But the problem with amateur carpenters and stuff, when there's so much work doing, you don't plan carefully. At least that's my experience. We don't plan carefully enough. You spend too much time thinking about what to do and not enough time just doing stuff. You know. Someone's asking, why I'm doing this by myself, the shop. We thought we had a different plan with our friend from England, and all I can say is I don't know what happened. I don't know. I never got an explanation. So I don't know what to think. I've just kept away from it. Haven't talked about it much. So. The white strip, yeah, people keep joining, asking about the strip. It's a support for the paper. These streams are funny, so. He just coughed. What? Did I cough? I'm rubbing the support just to make sure there's no leftover pigment here, you know. This is really a bit of, what's the word, not very well organized bit of work here today, you know. Normally we'd make these prints in larger quantities, sort things out properly, get the paper properly moistened. If there was a problem here, you'd make a jig that flips out, flips back in, flips out, flips back in. I'm just doing a sort of a seat of the pants job today just to get these things out of here and off to the Ome workshop. So does the fact that the wood is more porous than metal have any long-term effect on the prints? I don't, what can I say? I don't have any idea. The wood is a jig, really. It's a thing that's used to apply pigment to the paper. Once the pigment is in the paper, I don't think the fact that it came from wood rather than metal has any effect. I don't know. The blocks really are just jigs in a sense. The point of having a wood block is just to provide a means to get ink in a specific location on the paper. It's like a jig when you're building a car. You put the screw there and the jig puts the screw in a certain part on the car. So the block is just one of the tools that helps get to the finished project. The wood does change over time. Yes, as it gets older, absolutely, absolutely. A brand new, fresh piece of wood behaves differently than an older piece of wood, absolutely. I mean, this piece of wood now is saturated with this red pigment, absolutely saturated. We couldn't use this to print yellow, you know, or anything else, of course. The pigment has gone deep, deep inside this wood, and there's no way we could use it for anything else. When you've got a fresh, clean block, you can sometimes do some tests. You can print red, quickly wipe it off and wash it and try and print something else. But once you've printed it like we have here now, many, many hundreds, that's it. This block is a red block, period. Well, George, I think I mentioned I thought it was fun. I had a quick look at it yesterday. Didn't see much about it. The illustration looks like a ton of fun. I know nothing negative from my side. Go for it. I know. Please sell it as you will. I'd be curious in hearing if a lot of people buy it and stuff. Please let me know. It would be fun to hear. Thanks for doing that, especially the owl. Jed, what are you asking here? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I'm sorry. The Yoshida prints with different color schemes, did they use different blocks? Ah, you mean the, like the day and night and afternoon, all from the same set of wood blocks? The answer is yes and no. It's the same block set with a little bit of change. Hang on. We've done one of those. We've done one of those Yoshida prints in a daytime and a nighttime version. And it's the quote unquote same block set, but there are blocks that get used. For example, there's one block for the nighttime that has lights in the distance. That block is not used when we do the daytime version. And the block for the background for the night is different than the background block for the day because it's got holes cut out for the lights. So it's not exactly the same image for both the day and the night versions. So in that sense, it's a different block set. Jetson, I'm not sure people understand what you're talking about. Maybe you can link to that. Find one of those images. On my phone, too lazy. Do I have to do this then? Let's see. Hang on a sec. Mokuhankan. In our own catalog, we've got a pair of Yoshida prints. Here we are. Here we are. Maybe somebody's beat me to it. Oh, beat me to it. There you go. Sorry about that. Okay. This is a very simple version. The Yoshida family, Yoshida Hiroshi, made some staggeringly large prints of sailing ships in the inland sea in I think it's a set of 6. I don't remember exactly. Don't quote me. It's morning mist, bright sunshine, afternoon, evening rain, and nighttime and whatever. They did a much more extensive set of these. The ones you're seeing in this link here are prints that were made to fit inside the book he made. He wrote a guidebook about how prints were made and had some prints. He had his craftsmen make prints to go inside the book. And the 2 we have here are reproductions I made of those. So the point Jed was asking, we had started talking about once you've used a block for one color, if I print red on this, I can't use it for yellow. So how do the Yoshidas do that when the same block set is used for prints that are supposed to be daytime and nighttime? That's the genesis of the conversation here. And there's a few things you can do to help with that. I haven't seen the Yoshida blocks, the original block set for those, but I have talked to Namabi-san, who is their printer, who works on those things. And he says that what they did was when they got the block set first ready, before they start printing it, he says they use a thing called it was Japanese, ligroin. And it's some kind of, it's like a paint thinner or a solvent of some kind. And they paint that onto the blocks before they put the pigment into it. And he said that what it does is it stops the pigment from going deep down inside the block. So it's just sort of a shallower embedding of the pigment. So that when you then try and wash the blocks with soap and water, it'll wash off the pigment down to the point where that solvent had integrated into it. So you can then use it for a completely different color. We have never done that ourselves, but that was the That was Namabisan's comment. Ligroin, Ligroine, but that's a Japanese product name or a Western product name, I don't know. In my own case, the set that I did there, that Yoshida Prince Night and Day, it didn't matter because that darkness comes from one block that is only used on the night side. It gets that deep, deep blue pigment. And that particular block, because it's got holes cut for the lights, isn't used for the daytime version. So we had no specific problem on our print using the, quote, same block set for dark and light prints. Kids thanking the gentleman known as Kantar. Kantar, there's no U, so I guess it's Kantar for the support. And we have to add ours too. That gentleman is, it seems, trying to support us single-handedly, trying to keep our workshop alive. So he knows I can say thank you many times, but thank you again, sir. I think I mentioned before, you've probably got too many prints there now, I think, but whatever. So do I. I understand how it works. So. Tea collection, meaning what? I don't know, you're collecting tea to drink or tea cups and stuff, or tea bowls are a big collectible thing here in Japan. You know, tea ceremony bowls. They could be staggeringly expensive. We're talking about hoarding art. Somebody's mentioned the word hoarding art there. There's a bit of a difference in this case, you know, the kind of support we're getting here from various people around the world. It's different from buying old stuff that exists. There's people that buy antiques or old paintings or things like this. And then there's people that, like in this case, who are picking up these items from the people making them. So it's not just hoarding. That's totally the wrong word to use for it. It's support of the things becoming created. It's a whole different thing. Whole different level of importance and feeling, you know. Buying old stuff doesn't help the people who made it, only in the generic sense of keeping that thing as part of the culture in general. But collecting and purchasing things from the people who are making it is a really, really actively, you know, I mean, the money comes in for the order and it goes into our general account, and I pay the staff at the end of the month, and they take it home and buy rice and eat, and, you know, this is something that's really happening on the ground. It's not theoretical. All the people buying our stuff, the simplest, cheapest subscription print or something larger from the catalog, you know, and we eat that money. We eat it, literally. The interesting twist on that too is that, I mean, we've talked about this many, many times, because the products we make actually last such a long time. There's the bizarre thought that the people that actually put their money on the table for purchasing something we make now, this little print that I'm making right now, you're only going to own it for the tiniest fraction of its lifetime, and yet you're the one that had to pay for constructing it, you know. It's a bit sad. All the people down the years, the next 20 people who are going to own this print before it finally dies sometime in 2350, none of those guys have had to pay for it, you know. I don't know, you think too much about this, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. It's the way anything works, I guess. But Japanese pottery, boy, that's a deal in itself, That's a huge, huge field, way bigger and deeper than printmaking, There's people making it all over the place, pottery. There's people who have been making it. There are different schools. That's a big, big, big field. My God. Sometimes I feel a bit, sad about stuff like that. I have no idea what the numbers are here, but if you imagine how many potters there are in Japan at the moment, making both pottery for just people drinking tea or pottery as art or stuff. I don't know the number, but I bet you there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them. And there will be hundreds of active kilns all over the country. People making pottery, flower vases and this and that, all those kind of things. And it's a frustration to me why there are not hundreds of workshops actively making woodblock prints all over the country. It's a failure to me. It's a failure of the people who have made these prints over the past 20th century. If you go back 120, 130, 140 years, printmaking was everywhere. Books were made, pictures were made, there were thousands of people making the stuff and tens and hundreds of thousands of people consuming the stuff. And the people in the print world, once the printing presses came in, they lost their vision and they lost the idea of the whole thing. And over the whole course of the 20th century, it disappeared. The potters kept going, the calligraphers kept going, other people making all kinds of interesting things kept going. For some reason, the print thing just disappeared. They gave up, nothing left but making tourist copies of the Great Wave. And I don't see any inherent difference in it. If there's 1,000 pottery workshops in Japan, and it's famous all over the world, there are hundreds of bonsai shops all over Japan. It's famous all over the world. People are doing it, loving it, buying it. Thousands of people make their living from bonsai, from koi, from all these things in Japan. And yet only 10 or 15 or 20 people make their living from woodblock prints. And we failed, the guys who are making it. And it sounds a bit stupid and pretentious, whatever, but that's why I'm here now. I got to get back into that group. The group where it's on the wall of our shop. It says, living with woodblock prints. Get it back to the point where this stuff becomes part of the daily life of every single person in this country. You can laugh and laugh and laugh, whatever. It'll never happen while I'm alive, but well, the reason why it happened, it's really quite clear, Remember, the printmaking in Japan back in the old days, it wasn't artistic, it wasn't pretentious, it was just a job. It was the printing business. It ran as an important integral part of society. Some people made rice balls for people to eat. Some people printed books for people to read. It was just an inherent part of Japanese society. It wasn't cultural, in the sense of being artistic and highfalutin. It was just an integral part of daily life. What I said, living with woodblock prints. They didn't think of it as anything special. Then the printing presses came along and destroyed that particular method of manufacture. Some people kept up making prints for tourists. Others took on a whole different approach. Let's be artists, the shikomunakata style or whatever. And they, by definition, what they did, they limited their work into tiny, tiny, limited categories. We will only make a few prints, we will number them high, and will no longer be part of daily life, but it will be a special artistic thing. And that's the mistake they made. Mistake by my definition, not by their definition, of course. Mistake by my definition. They specifically tried to take it into a limited area, and they won. So instead of everybody having woodblock prints, only one person in 1,000 has woodblock prints, but they pay a high price for them. So that's what happened over the course of that 100 years. And by my specific personal private definition, that was a mistake, because the whole beauty of these things now is lost to the world at large. So that's just our mission, just to make them as well as we can, to talk as well as we can, to show people how beautiful they are. Everybody who came for the print party yesterday, as the last step of the print party, we take their print and we show them how to look at it under a flat light. They don't even know what they're making. They think they've made a picture, and we show them how under a nice light it looks actually beautiful, and there's a depth and a richness in there that transcends the actual image itself. And every one of those people in the print parties goes, oh my God, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And that's our mission, just to show people how beautiful these things can be, and to encourage them to have this beauty as part of their daily life. Whatever, talk too much about the same thing, it's okay. Can you explain about flat light? Boy, we're sitting here at my printing bench. Nothing I can do about this. So no, there's pages on our website that talk about this. The point being, I don't have a print to show you, whatever. When you got a print, whatever, in our daily life these days, there's light coming from many different directions, mostly from the ceiling. And it makes everything, our rooms are clean and bright and clear, and things are clean and clear. And a woodblock print, the image part of it is clear. There's the picture the person drew. That's the idea I want to communicate. But what's lost when you see it that way is the richness that comes from the fact that this is made from analog objects, analog components, rather than digital components. And again, I can't do it as I sit right here. But it turns out that because the paper we use has thickness, when you look at something under the right angle of light, the richness of the analog components comes into play. You can see the washi paper, you can see the way that the interplay of the colors, you can see little fibers here and there. And to many people, these are irrelevant things. It doesn't matter, because for them, the image is what's important. But for some of the rest of us, the analog aspect, the physical palpability of these objects becomes an important part of what they are, as well as just the image aspect. And I understand a lot of people don't care about this. A lot of people don't think about it. A lot of people, it's not important to them at all. But to those of us who touch these things every day and who have a real feel for the physical aspect of these things, the analog aspect to woodblock prints becomes almost as important as the digital aspect, the image aspect, where the lines are, where the black is, where the red is. People talk about this too with oil paintings. People who know, I don't know anything about this, but when they go to see the Mona Lisa as an oil painting, they're seeing it for many reasons. They're seeing the oil painting of the Mona Lisa, her smile, and what Leonardo thought about. But those who know a bit more about it will get closer, and they will see the impasto, the way that the things blend together. They can see the thing as an analog object itself, also as an analog object. So I'm sorry to blumber in words here, just sitting at my bench. I don't have something I can show you A and show you B. When you're in our shop, or when you have a woodblock print in your hands, these things do become physically palpable. If somebody else during the stream can try and help explain better. I don't know. Especially these days when everything has become digital. It's really it becomes so important to touch this stuff, you know. Where are we? What have I got left here? What's the time? I've got 3.5 sheets left here. What time is it? 9:17. That's it. I was thinking I was going to get 2 or 3 colors done this morning. Ha! The eternal optimist. I can't blame you guys for it this time. I screwed up with the paper moistening. So. Okay, 3 sheets left, 6 impressions. It's 9:18. Let's go. Today in the shop, it's Kawai-san and Nakamura-san. And no reservations. Really, really unusual. There's not one reservation for today. Yesterday we were booked solid. Weekends are never strong for us, you know. Someone's asking here about how to do gradients. It's nothing I can explain in words right here. I'm sorry. There's a ton of examples on our different videos. I've got examples in my website, woodblock.com. If you go to the encyclopedia section, you'll see pictures and video about gradations. It's nothing I can easily explain right here in words when I'm not doing one. I'm sorry, I know. Whoa, there we go. Look at this. What have we done here this time? Still more coming back. I think our little island here has become too flat. I flattened my island. It's pumping up a bit. There's always something else, you know. You're never safe, never secure. I've been rubbing the island to get the red pigment off it. Flattened it, flattened it, flattened it. And finally it got flattened enough that bingo, our red comes back up. All on live TV. It's never over. And you can never relax. You can never stop checking and watching and working it out, you know. Interesting. Now on YouTube forever. That's right. I'll be famous for a red splotch. What a fool. I can't even print the basic simple red. You know, more and more I'm giving up worrying about that sort of stuff, you know. I think when I was first starting to do this publicly, first starting YouTube and or Facebook and or whatever, I was kind of worried about what are people going to see, what are they going to think, you know. And now I can't say I care less about it. That's not right, you know. What can I say? There's enough stuff out there that I've made now that the core of what we do, the real who we are, is visible now. We don't have to sort of, I'm not saying pretend, that's the wrong thing. We didn't pretend before, but we don't have to try and sort of hide all the little defects and present only our best face. It doesn't work like that anymore. I'm not sure how to verbalize this, you know. We're out there now, whatever. There's so much information and so much view of what we do that people will end up getting an honest view of what this is like and how it works and the easy parts and the difficult parts. And one sheet left. Let's go. Last sheet. What was this? If everything we did was perfect, you wouldn't believe we were doing it. So, but still, I'm supposed to be an expert at this, you know. And today there's been rather more screw-ups than I would have had, than I feel comfortable with. But whatever. There's good days and there's mixed days and there's other days, and and maybe just today I just don't care. I got to go and get a cup of coffee, get down in the shop, and I got to get busy. It's one of those days where there's just, you know, what can I say? There's so much stuff coming at you. I know. There's a video game, you know, you're shooting, playing, boom, zoom, zoom, stuff comes, and yeah, hit that, it's all cool. And it comes a bit more, and you shoot a bit more, and it comes a bit more, and you shoot a bit more. And it's sort of at some point, I mean, I'm not much of a video game player. We used to play a little game on the Mac called Cheese Toast. It was a little teapot floating in space. It was a kind of homage to Georges Bernard Shaw. It was a teapot floating in space, and it was the gun that shot all the different aliens coming. And me and my daughters used to play it. We're talking about 1996 or something, I don't know, a million years ago. And of course, it was a game you couldn't win, just simply how long you could survive before you got overwhelmed and you couldn't shoot these things anymore, you know. And of course, it would go through, you would shoot, bang, got it, I'm cool, got it. But bit by bit, the thing overwhelms you. And at some point, it just, I can't do this anymore. And there's just so much coming at you. You just collapse in a heap and get overwhelmed by this stuff, you know. And a little bit, that's how my life is feeling right now, you know. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to keep up, but whatever, don't misunderstand. I'm okay. I'm having fun. But my God, we can't possibly even remotely keep up with what's going on now. I haven't the slightest hope in hell of keeping up with any of this stuff right now. So it's triage every day just to try and get through this. You know, that's why I'm making this print. Okay, there we go. I think that's it. There's no more paper in here. There is no more paper in here. We're done. It's been a real mixed stream today, guys. We should finish with a good one. Here we are. They're mostly okay. I think I've spoiled 5 or 6 of them. Way more than I should. A simple print like this, I should spoil just the first one, get it organized, and then go from there. Okay. So I'm a bit saddened that you've seen not a perfect print run today here, but as we said, it's what we are. And it's an interesting lesson too, that if you just let things slide a little bit, no matter how expert you are or how good you are, if you know, I know what I should have done. I've moistened it a bit too much. I should have taken the time to dry it out. Should have taken the time to make a nice little jig here. And this craft, if you're trying to do things at a really, really high level, you can't muck around. If you screw around, it will bite you right away. It'll just bite you back right away. So what a note to end on. I'm actually happy. We're having good fun today. Today's going to be an easy, peaceful day for me. There's no parties. Nakamura-san and Kawai-san are going to take care of the shop. I'm going to go downstairs and try and draw a curve. And this is interesting. I know maybe there's mathematicians here, whatever. I've got the idea for the counter in the shop here. We were planning and maybe people on the Twitch stream threw ideas back and forth at us. We were trying to plan this shop. Where should David's bench go? Where should the party room go? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. What's this? My mother's giving advice, is she? One thing at a time. Well, of course, one thing at a time. It's just when they're all lined up, it gets a bit overwhelming thinking about all the things that are coming at you one at a time. So not to push you away, but yes, we are doing one thing at a time, but trying to reduce the number of things that are waiting in line is the problem. So anyway, get back to what I was saying. The counter is not going to be a square, rectangular, long counter. I probably shouldn't do this because we've got too much to do and too many things to think about. I should simplify. But I've got a certain image in mind. When people are coming into the shop, they're going to see from outside, they can see the glass door. They're going to open the glass door and come in. And they're standing at one end of the shop and they're looking now down into the shop. The counter will be on the left. Dave's bench will be on the left. The prints for sale will be on the right. And I want the counter, it's actually going to be the visual focus when people come into the shop before they even see the prints. So I want it to be interesting. And it's going to be made with a long, delicate curve along the front side of it. And it'll be, of course, it's a parabola, an ellipse. And it's this morning's job for me today down there. I've got the piece of wood ready for it, and I have to lay out a nice elliptical curve along the front of this counter that is going to determine the shape of it, and it'll also determine the shape of the ceiling in the print party room later on. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm trying to remember back to high school. How did we do this? Or elementary school. We got 2 pins and a piece of string, and we drove a pencil around it. And you know, when you've got 2 pins and a string and you run your pencil around the inside of it, you get an ellipse. And the length of the string and the distance of the pins makes the shape of the ellipse that you get. So that's my job down there tonight, to get a couple of nails and a piece of string and put them on this countertop and try and draw what will become a defining curve for this countertop and for the roof of our print party for years to come. So it's going to be good fun for me this morning down there. So I'm sorry if some of the things on this stream was a bit negative or I messed up something here and there. Not so. We're having a good time. Is my mom making more comments? What's she doing? Bye till tomorrow. Okay. How many other people on Twitch have a 91-year-old mother watching them, keeping control over what's going on? Okay, Mom, I'll try and be a good boy. No, the nails. I'm laying this out on a junk piece of wood. What we're doing, I've got a router to do this. So this is a junk piece of wood. I'm going to put nails and pins all over it to try this curve. And I'm going to cut the piece of wood it'll be a jig. Then I will use that jig for cutting the main curve on the actual countertop. So don't worry, I'm not going to put nails in my countertop. So I outed her age. Whatever, it's okay. It doesn't matter. We're all proud of who we are and what we're doing here. It's okay. I'm very happy that she's here. The other day too, my mother, I noticed she was actually contributing in the chat. If you're still there, Mom, I don't know. She was answering people and using the @ mark and back and forth. I'm so happy that she's here to do this. Absolutely. Anyway, 9:30, I have got to get out of here. I've talked too much. Ellipse or a parabola, it's the same thing, I understand. A parabola is just a chunk taken from an ellipse, I think. I will find out otherwise if somebody can't come. Guys, I gotta go. Thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same station. I'll be working on the next block here, and I believe it will be this gray block. You can see I cleaned it up the other day. Same time, same station, back here tomorrow. Thanks very much, and I've got to get downstairs now. Boy, what a mixed stream today. Wow. Really, really mixed stream. Bye, Mom. See you later. Enjoy your dinner.